So explain Limelight Entertainment, what you do, who you are. Go ahead.
Gotcha. So we are an event-based group with a focus on weddings, wedding events. We have a DJ division, a photography division, a videography division recently opened up, and photo booths as well. So we service about, right now, around 200 weddings a year.
Okay.
And we have about 25 employees, and yeah.
Nice.
That's pretty much
That's
pretty much what we do.
Awesome, great. How long have you been doing it for?
So we started in 2012. I technically started the company in 2011, but we really started doing weddings in 2012. Okay. So that would be 11 years now.
Okay, so you've been running and operating a DJ, photography, and now new to video business for about 12 years.
Correct.
You do about 200 to 250 weddings a year, and probably one of the more competitive markets, and you're doing well enough that we're sitting in like a 2,000 square foot office, right? In one of the most, expensive places to rent in America.
Yeah.
Sounds successful to me. Perfect. Cool. So tell us how you got into music, what led you down that path, whether it was a parent, maybe someone that you knew growing up.
Yeah, definitely. So I got into music. I always loved music when I was a kid, you know. I remember driving my car with my dad. Like, my dad would be, like, blasting, like, Metallica and stuff like that.
Nice.
While we're driving on weekends and everything. But, I really fell in love with music when I picked up a guitar. So when I was, like, 14 years old, I randomly came across a guitar case that was in my bedroom closet I didn't even know existed, and I opened it up, and there was this like 1968 Gibson SG sitting there, and I'm like, what is this thing? I'm like, this is cool.
Was that your dad's guitar?
It was my dad's guitar, and I had no idea that my dad even played guitar, or because he played when he was a kid, and then kind of just locked it up, and so I pulled it out, I started strumming away at it, and then, one thing led to another. I ended up, learning how to play, got into bands and everything like that. So I was playing live music for a while. Once that kind of like started toning down, after a while, I started thinking about like, what else can I do? So the idea of DJing popped in my head, and I was like, all right, so let me explore this, possibly. What really made me decide, hey, I want to try DJing for a living, was, so my wife and I, we were living in Belmar at the time, and we were walking on the boardwalk one night, and there used to be this place called Matisse there. It's not there anymore. Sandy took it out. And we're walking past, and there's this party going on, and like I pop my head in, and I'm like, look at this. I'm like, this guy DJing over here. I'm like, this is easy. I could do this, So she's like, well, why don't you? And I'm like, all right, I'm up for the challenge. Let me check it out. So I had some connections in the area with some like bar and club owners, and I called. I made a couple of calls, and I was like, hey, just so you know, I have a DJ company.
I'm doing this thing now.
And, if you're interested, in a DJ on a specific night, let me know.
Yeah.
I got an email back like a day later. What are you doing this Friday? Now, this was like a Monday.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
What are you doing this Friday? I was like, nothing. I'm available.
Renting gear.
So he's like, all right, you're on Friday night. All right, cool. Now, I had never DJ'd in my life.
Okay.
Never touched a mixer, nothing.
Yep.
And so I was like, okay, I have a gig Friday. I need to figure out, number one, how to DJ.
Yeah.
Number two, where am I getting gear from?
Yeah.
So I actually ended up calling, our buddy over at Sweetwater. Yeah, exactly. And I was like, hey, Kurt, listen, I was like, I've got this thing going on. I need some, just tell me what I need to make this gig happen. And he was great, and he sent me, I purchased some gear. He sent me whatever I needed. I got it by like Wednesday, and I literally sat in my apartment Wednesday and Thursday and just watched YouTube videos on how to DJ. And like, to me, the beat matching came naturally because, you know, of my music background. But it was just, I needed the technical part of it.
On how to actually
like work the mixer and everything, you know? So, yeah.
That's how it happened?
That's how it happened. And the funny thing was, I didn't listen to like top 40 or anything at that point. So like, I couldn't tell you what was on the radio. Like I'm like a rock guy at heart, you know? So I had no idea like what to even play like at this bar. So my wife, she put together a playlist for me. She's like, this is what people are going to want to listen to. I'm like, all right, cool. So I made this playlist and then I just kind of like bounced around it. I didn't even know 3/4 of the songs.
Was Jackie, and Jackie is Chris's wife, was Jackie taking photos yet?
She was taking photos for like, you know, she was taking photos of the band back in the day.
Band, okay,
you know?
Band stuff, yeah.
But she wasn't like into like event photography.
Okay, gotcha.
So I ended up playing that gig and everything went really, really well and they loved it.
Yeah.
Luckily it worked out. The next thing you know, I ended up getting like bar residencies like 6 nights a week.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's kind of like how I launched the company.
Now there's 2 important things that you left out in your story. The first one is, so I met Chris at a music retail store, mom and pop store. So Chris did work music retail.
I did.
For about 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Until he got fired because he stopped showing up because he wanted to play in his band.
Yes.
So you have music retail.
Yeah.
You have that background. You have live performance background.
Yes.
And now you run a DJ company.
That's correct.
Do you feel that background in music retail sales ever comes into play when you're talking to a couple and just listening to what they're saying? Or did that kind of just all go by the wayside and into the early 20s fog? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, selling back at the music store, you know, helped. Yep. But honestly, like when I first started the company, I took a lot of online courses.
Okay.
You know, on you know, on sales and marketing and things like that really, really helped me.
Was that like the Wedding Wire ones and the Not ones? Or?
It was actually a company called Book More Brides.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah. And they just had a lot of really helpful informational, you know, courses, you know, because I mean, I went to college, but I went to college for 2 years and it had nothing to do with
what you're doing for
what
a
I'm
living?
doing now, you know, and
I think that happens quite a bit.
Yeah. So I really had no experience, minus the music store.
Yeah.
But yeah, the online courses really just kind of like helped me understand, you know, what I should be doing and the direction I should be going in, you know. So that helped out a lot. And then honestly, a lot of it is just natural conversation. Yeah. You know, like if you could sit down with a person and have a natural conversation with them, you know, and just, you know, understand what they're looking for and be able to provide that. Yeah. I feel like
it's just listening.
That's it.
90% of the time, and that's a made-up number, but I do feel like if you just listen to people,
that's
like
it.
In all aspects of life, like your kid's going to tell you what they want.
Yeah.
You know, when they're crying or this and that, they're telling you. You just need to drop the ego and listen.
That's it.
You know, I know you worked another job when you started. When did you decide it was time to get out of that job?
It was time to get out of that job when I just found myself in like a standstill with the business. Like I felt
with Limelight.
With Limelight, gotcha. Yeah. So I was building Limelight. We were doing more and more and more. And I always, you know, originally when I started the company, you know, I wanted to focus on weddings because number one, I thought that weddings were fun, and you know, number two, I felt like I could make a career out of it. Yeah. You know, so. You know, after we ended up doing, you know, a certain amount of weddings per year, I just found myself not being able to manage everything the way that I wanted to manage things. Yeah. Because I had to work this other job 40 hours a week,
So it was a time consideration.
It was time. I felt like I needed more time in order to be able to do what I wanted to do with Limelight.
Okay.
So at that point,
Yeah.
I was making enough money with Limelight to just kind of just get by.
Yeah. Yep,
and I was like, you know what? I gotta go all in, or I gotta just forget about it. So I just decided to go all in.
Did you have a quantifiable dollar goal to get out of where you were working?
Just enough to pay my bills.
Were you there when you quit?
I was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
okay.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I was pretty much there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was like enough to pay the bills.
It was just like it. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I know it's but you got to take that leap of faith.
Yeah, exactly. You know.
I just read something that was, when you're just about like the stakes are so large that failure is just catastrophic.
Yeah.
Like that's where success lives.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean? Right on that edge of just disaster.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it was kind of like a scary thing too, because, I had, my son.
Yep.
He was probably like a year old,
Yep.
and we were thinking about like a second child, and it's like, man, if I need to succeed. There's no, there's no going back on this. So if I step out of this day job that I'm doing, there's no turning back. I need to make it work.
There's also another side of it, because we're in Howell, New Jersey. This is where you grew up, right? So there's a social aspect of that too, where it's like the ego's involved. And if it doesn't work out and you end up back at that place, people are going to ask you, why are you back here?
Yeah.
And that,
you're 100% right.
And that is, can destroy you even more than the monetary side of it.
You don't want to go back to that place and have to answer that
question.
Explain
why.
Yeah.
And so I know one issue that I had inside the wedding industry was scaling and trying to find people that would show up, like so simple, right? Just show up on time.
Yeah.
But then there's also a technical aspect of it. And with cameras and video, what I do, the hardest part always was audio. It was like, even with my wife shooting, audio was like the bringer of anxiety to those people. When you're hiring for your DJ business, do you look for people to have those technical abilities before you bring them in? Or would you rather have a clean slate, no bad habits, hey, come on in, let me show it to you?
Yeah, I got you. That's a good question. I could go either way.
Okay.
But, I have to really feel good about the person, that does have experience. Because most of the times, honestly, starting from a clean slate, someone who just has a passion for music, sometimes that's the best hire, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you bring them in and you show them, the Limelight way, this is our brand, this is how we do it. This is how we show up. Mm-hmm. This is how we present ourselves. This is, kind of the style, this is our style. This is what we do. We have a whole training program that pretty much brings everybody, through every step of what we do and how we do it, whether it's DJing, whether it's lighting, whatever it is. So, everyone has to go through the same training program. And
you pay them when they train.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely.
So there is an investment that you're making as a business owner on someone who may not work out.
Yes.
And you may spend thousands of dollars on them.
Yes.
And in the end, you can't have them screw up at the wedding.
And and that does happen too, where we'll go through training and it's like this just isn't going to work out, or the guy just stops showing up.
That's a cost to a business that, unless you're a business owner, you just don't understand it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've paid people not to show up. Like literally, I've been like, you know what, man, just keep the 500. I'm sure I'll be able to use you sometime.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not going to use you, man.
Yeah.
Like,
because you have that gut feeling where it's just like
with Cheetos on your pants.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah.
Do you think that a lot of the people that come on with you are looking to start their own DJ business and they're just kind of info pumping you?
I feel like. Sometimes, but then also other times, they see the opportunity.
Yeah.
And, it's guys that are just really looking to work, and maybe they've tried it on their own and they just can't get the amount of work that they want.
Yeah.
Or if they're just looking for some extra work. But we also have, guys that are exclusive to us as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's more of like the excitement of working with the brand.
Okay.
Working with the company
Yeah.
and just knowing like, hey, these guys are going to keep me busy.
Yeah.
They've got a nice system and it works and it's smooth.
I think when you bring people up here to your office, I was surprised. I've been in your prior 2 offices, and I thought we were going into the storage space across.
Yeah.
I was like, are we going into the storage space? And then I was like, oh man, no, this is like primo territory.
Thanks.
So I think that this physical space also has to help with that a little bit.
It does. It does. People walk in and they're definitely impressed.
Yeah. It's super cool, and some of the stuff you did out there is awesome.
Thank you.
One other thing I want to dial back to is you said when you got started, you called Matisse and didn't have anything.
Oh yeah.
So that's straight up cold calling. That's what that is, right?
That's what that is.
Was that just a gut kind of like, this is what I need to do? Or was like, did someone tell you, man, you need to call around? How did you come to the conclusion that I'm going to go and get the business instead of waiting for it to come to me?
Gotcha. Yeah. So, Matisse was the bar that I
walked past.
That I walked past.
Sorry. Yep.
No, that's okay. No, it's just that was just a gut instinct. Because it's like, well, if I want this to happen, no one's going to do it for me.
Mm-hmm.
I have to do it. I have to make something happen. I'm not just going to sit back and expect, to start this DJ company.
Yeah.
That just came from being hungry. You know what I mean? That just came from, back to retail sales. Mm-hmm. It's like, I'm not going to sell that guitar if I don't talk about it, if I don't show the customer the guitar, and goes back from being in a band,
mm-hmm.
and I'm not going to get this show if I don't make a call, or I'm not going to,
Yeah, it's just
if you never reach out,
yeah,
you can't expect for things to come to you.
Just to show up on your doorstep.
Exactly. Exactly.
When you got the business fully going,
mm-hmm.
You're working the weekends, you're doing your consults during the week. I know you're cutting up your recaps. You're probably helping Jackie do some things with her business too, I'm sure, like just little errands and things like that. At any point in time, did you ever feel like, man, I'm missing out on things socially? Like did that sacrifice ever feel like it was not worth it?
No, because I had the bigger picture in mind.
Okay.
I knew that I was sacrificing time, that moment.
Yeah.
Because super busy. But I feel like any entrepreneur is going to go through that, where it's like, okay, I have something that I want to create,
mm-hmm.
and I'm okay with some social sacrifice for now, because the bigger picture is, really.
What is the bigger picture?
Well, the bigger picture is really just, creating something awesome, that is going to, provide, number one, for my family,
okay.
Financial freedom, and then also, opportunity for others,
So when you say opportunity for others, you're talking about physically giving people jobs.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. And then, the more and more that you build, obviously the less and less I could step back a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I have my social freedom back,
Passive income, man.
Exactly.
The big picture is I'm home on Saturday with the kids in my pool, and I got 3 dudes or 3 girls or whatever out there working for me.
Yeah.
And the clients are happy. And one of the biggest struggles I went up against was I spent years and years and years selling me.
Yeah.
And selling what I was going to do and how I was going to shoot things and all this. And when it came down to passing these other people that I've spent literally hundreds of thousands of dollars training, and they have hundreds of thousands of dollars in equipment, the brides didn't have the confidence. you know? So do you run into that ever? Are you now, not selling yourself as much as part of the Limelight experience, or is it, how are you coping with that type of thing?
It was hard at first.
Yeah.
It was hard at first for the couples not to want to book me because,
You're Chris Limelight.
I'm the owner of the company.
Yeah,
I built the company,
Yeah.
But, luckily we've had, several guys on with us for years now, and they've gotten, a ton of experience, working with us. So we've been able to, provide some content of their work and, provide portfolios and things like that, and reviews. But, as we've expanded over the years, we've just, the brand's built, itself.
Yeah.
And now I find people are putting more trust in the brand itself than the individual. So, which is nice. Because, no matter who we send out, we're going to make sure that it's, quality. We don't just bring anybody on. We don't allow just anyone to go out there, on the job, because, you're representing my company.
Yeah.
So you're going to do a great job.
Awesome. So now it's January 2024, let's say, right? Booking season's in full effect. How do you quantify your goal for that year? Is it how much time you spend out of the house versus money? Is it just straight up top line? Is it bottom line? In 2024, what are you going to look at to say this year was a success?
Honestly, I've always looked at it like as long as we're doing better than the previous year.
Okay. That's very common.
Yeah. As long as we're doing better than the previous year, I'm happy.
Okay.
I don't need tremendous, insane,
You just want positive forward movement with your company.
That's it. Positive forward movement. That's the best way to put it. I would love to build out the team a little more, maybe bring on another crew, of the same quality, obviously, and just keep moving forward. Just honestly, just keep moving forward. That's pretty much what it is.
When you look at those goals, do you take anything into account, inflation, or do you just kind of look at it and just like, man, I'm a gut business owner. Things feel good. Things feel right. The numbers seem to be going in a positive direction.
Yeah.
Or do you get like really analytical? I know you have a good accountant that you use for stuff like that. Do you get into the weeds like that, or is it just gut?
My accountant gets into the weeds like that.
So it's gut for you.
Me, it's gut.
Perfect.
As long as I'm moving forward, I'm happy, because I've always had that mentality.
Okay.
It's like, let's just
Do
bulldoze this forward, and good is going to come out of it.
So what's next for Limelight?
Keep doing what we do. That's it. It's hard for me to say, like, what's next for Limelight because, again, I'm that kind of like, I have that bulldoze kind of mentality where it's just like, I just want to keep doing a good job. And if I keep doing a good job, then things are going to grow. People are going to recognize that. So I just need, the team of people around me with that same mentality, and let's just grow and just keep doing something special.
Seems like a major part of what you define as success is the ability to support other people with your business.
Yeah.
Was it always that way?
In the beginning, no, because it was just me and my wife. But, as I had that bigger picture in mind, it was like, listen, we need to create opportunity for others. And that's very important to me.
It's good karma, man.
They end up building with you.
Yeah. You look at the ultra successful entrepreneurs, a lot of the self-help guys, Grant Cardone, Bedros, and all of them. And almost, to a man, it's always about helping other people. So anyone looking for Limelight, where are they going to find you at?
Where are they going to find us?
Yep, online, on Instagram.
Yeah, definitely. Honestly, just head to our website.
Is it LimelightEntertainment.com? Well, cool, brother. I appreciate the time on a Friday morning here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, man.